What's going on, y'all? This is the Starts with a Vision podcast, and I wanted to do something a little bit different, man. Have a little bit different setup. So that's what I did. This is going to be a good episode. Today we're talking about growing versus scaling, right? Growing versus scaling. Very big thing. So we're going to get into that. But before we do, I want to let you know that I launched this last week, right? This right here is Strategize with a Vision. You know, I'm all about a vision, right? And this is a playbook. If you have a direct-to-consumer brand, go ahead and join the circle at swavcircle.com, www.swavcircle.com, and you can grab this right here. This is going to give you the plays on how to build your brand, direct-to-consumer, your product-based business on the internet, okay? You know I'm all about strategy. You got to strategize with the vision in mind, right? So it's some really good stuff in here, and one of the things that we're going to talk about today stems from this workbook, right? So growing versus scaling, okay? You got growing a business and you got scaling a business. Now, we're in a time where all we hear about is scaling your business, scaling your business. You want to scale your business, do this. You want to scale your business, hire this. You want to scale your business, do this, right? But nobody's talking about growing your business. And I want to let you know that scaling and growing are two completely different things, okay? So when you hear about scaling, you usually hear, if you want to scale to 6 figures, if you want to scale to 10K a month, if you want to scale to 15K a month. But I'm here to tell you, okay? Doing 6 figures is not scaling your business. It's not scaling your business, okay? That's growing your business. If you're doing, let's say you're doing 10K a month, right? That's 120,000 a year. And you now are doing $30,000 a month, right? That is $360 a year, right? Okay. You did not scale to $30,000 a month. You grew 3x, okay? When we're talking about scale, we're talking about spending damn near $1 million a month on advertising, spending $400,000 a month on advertising, right? You have to grow your company to get ready to scale, okay? You don't just scale, because if you just scale, the machine is going to be broken. So before you scale, like everybody likes to talk about, because it's a buzzword, but don't allow the buzzwords to blind you. It's not about scaling, right? That's why I never talk about scaling. I talk about sustainability, longevity, right? Because there's no sustainability in trying to scale when you haven't even got a system down. You don't have your infrastructure down, right? If you're doing $5,000, $10,000, $20,000 a month, you haven't even scaled yet. You've just kind of reached a certain level. So we're going to go into it, the differences between the two. Now, if you're trying to grow versus trying to scale, growing your business is really about getting to a point where you have a machine. When you have a machine, what do I mean? Okay, you know your business like the back of your hand. You know your CAC, you know your LTV, annual, your 1 year, your 2 year, your 3 year LTV. If you haven't been in business for 3 years, then you don't know your 3 year LTV, right? You know, of course, your COGS. That's very important. You know your margins, right? You've proven to yourself, you've proven to your business and your board of advisors and your investors, if you have any, that you have a system, right? You know your marketing. You have your inventory forecasted. You have an actual team, right? And I'm not just talking about a couple freelancers. I'm talking about you have an organization. What do I mean when I say organization? Organization being, yes, you have your, let's say instead of having an email marketer, a company that you outsource, you have that in-house, right? Instead of having an ads agency, you have that in-house. You can do all these things before you truly get ready to scale, right? Scaling is like going from like 2 million a year to like 30 million a year. That's scaling, right? Because you're basically, that's out of the ordinary right there. And I'm talking about doing that within like an 18 to 24 month period. That's scaling, right? Scaling is rapid. Scaling is like a ridiculous amount of volume in a very short amount of time, right? When we hear about scaling, and go do your research, go watch other YouTube videos. When you hear about people talking about scaling, usually it's the people, brands that are VC backed, right? Which means they raise money. And if they're VC backed or if they got some money, right? They raise 500,000, a million, 2 million, 8 million, depending on the company, right? What did they do? They used that money. They had their executive team. They had the board of advisors, who was attached to the investors, right? They got everything ready. They got the brand down. They got the user experience down. They got whatever is specific to their brand and their company. And then they spent a ridiculous amount of money to market. Dollar Shave Club, right? They scaled because they got that one commercial video, they got some funding, and they went to the moon. Purple mattress, they scaled, right? And we're talking 9-figure companies. So 6 figures is not scaling. You feel me? You grow before you scale. If you don't have $2, $3, $4 million that you've raised, you can go straight to scaling if you raise this money, and then if you have the brand down, right? If you have all those other things down, right? If you don't have your operations together, how can you scale? I feel like operations is like a thing that nobody talks about in business. How much does your labor cost? And I'm talking about specific to product-based businesses, because labor is a lot higher in product-based businesses rather than service-based businesses, but the same principles are existent, right? So these are things you want to ask yourself. A lot of people are in a growth phase of their business, but they're thinking they're scaling, right? When you scale, you don't have another bad year right after, right? A lot of people think that they scaled during COVID, but they don't even know how they made the money. If you don't even know how your company grew, then you didn't scale. You just grew and you got lucky. I was having a conversation with someone not too long ago, and we was talking, and it's like, yo, a lot of people have gotten lucky with making their money. It's really that simple. Nobody wants to say that. Nobody wants to face that truth. But a lot of people just got lucky. They got to 200,000 lucky because they can't replicate it. They can't do it again. If you go to them and say, how did you make 250,000? How did you make 400,000? There's going to be some surface level answer because they don't know how they really did it. They don't know how to describe their machine. See, this game is about building a machine. It's not about scaling. A lot of people are not ready to scale, even mentally, right? If you're used to seeing 30,000 a month and we talking about scaling, and you going from 30,000 a month to 400,000 a month within 6 months will fuck your mind up if you're not ready for it, right? There's a whole nother side of this entrepreneurial journey that most people are not ready for, but they think they do. And you got to really understand, it's okay to do 100,000 and then 300,000 and then 600,000. There's nothing wrong with growing 2x every year. If you start at 100,000 and you 2x and for 3 years, right? 100 to 200, 200 to 400, 400 to 800. Do you know most companies are not making 800,000 a year? A lot of people on the internet are really struggling. A lot of people on the internet are confused, or they may make money and then they may drop. Or for them to make more money, they got to go do another hustle, right? This is about building one company and going vertical. It's about building one company and going vertical. And that takes discipline, it takes sacrifice, it takes time, right? So you don't scale out of nowhere. You don't scale to $30,000 a month. That's not scaling. That's growing, okay? There's a difference. You grow so you can prepare to scale. You don't scale. You don't go straight to scale. Everybody wants to go straight to scaling, right? And they don't even understand exactly what it is. So I want to encourage you to understand it's okay to grow 2x every year. If you're focused on just growing 2x, you'll grow more, you'll grow bigger, you'll grow better, right? I had a client last year. She was doing around $15,000 a month, right? Right now, a year later, she's now lowest month is about 65,000, right? I don't say that's scaling. She grew, right? She grew about 4x. We're focused on sustainability. We're focused on getting to where she needs to be. And then we're going to put more gas to the fire, right? But that's still not true scale. We still building out the infrastructure of the business, the team, right? Figuring out what needs to come in-house, what needs to go be outsourced, right? How are we going to get our costs down before we truly go? Because when you start to really grow fast, if your company isn't efficient from an operational perspective, you could crash and burn like that. Literally, it takes one mistake while you're scaling to go downwards. And you don't want that. So don't be so focused on scaling. It's okay to just grow. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I wanted to talk about today, yo. Be sure to go to swavcircle.com and grab your workbook, right? All-in-one, direct-to-consumer playbook. We got a whole bunch of stuff in here. I'm gonna do a whole bunch of different videos, just like talking about different things inside of it. But y'all need this workbook because a lot of things that I've learned from, working with brands, doing 5 million, 6 million, 800,000, 400,000, 150 a year, I've seen the differences, right? And it's all in here, right? So head to swavcircle.com, come join the circle. Be sure to get your workbook. And yeah, always remember, everything you do in life starts with a vision. Growing and scaling is different. Peace.